So next up, we're going to talk about a sinking fund. Now, a sinking fund is basically money that we're going to put away in order to cover some future expense, and that's usually going to be to replace an item of property, plant, or equipment, right? So there are three main things to consider. Well, the first thing is that prices inflate. So whatever this thing is worth today, say 200,000 Rand for a car, 5 years from now, it's going to be more, right? It's going to cost more in order to purchase it. So we've got to plan for that. Secondly, is usually we own an item that we can sell in order to recoup some of the cost, right? So we've got to figure out, well, how much can we sell this thing for in the future, because we can use some of that money to buy the new bit of equipment. And then next up, it says, well, how much money do we need to save in order to cover the difference between what this is going to cost and, well, what we can sell, what we have for. So a cyclist is going to set up a sinking fund. Yeah, apparently whoever did this PowerPoint really likes cycling. A cyclist sets up a sinking fund to cover the cost of a new Bianchi 5 years from now. Currently, the bike costs 125,000 Rand and inflation is expected to be 4% per annum. His current bike is worth 85,000 Rand today, and we expect that it's going to depreciate at 25% per annum on the reducing balance method, right? So we're going to sell that bike in order to help cover the cost of the new bike, and we intend to make monthly payments into an account that's going to earn 7% interest per annum, compounded monthly, starting at the end of the first month, and that's how we're going to save up in order to buy this brand new bicycle 5 years from now. Okay, so what a monthly amount do we need to save in order to buy this bike? Okay, so first things first, we need to know what a new bike costs 5 years from now. So 5 years from now, this 125,000 Rand purchase price has to grow by the inflation rate of 4% per annum, right? And inflation is annual, so we don't really have to put a denominator there. I'm just putting the 1 to show you that it's not monthly, it's not quarterly, it's annual. Right. Okay, and this is over 5 years. Okay, so that's going to give us 125,000 times the 1 plus 0.04, and that's going to be raised to the power of 5. Okay, so 5 years from now, this is what we expect the purchase price to be, right? So then we need to figure out, well, what can we sell the other bicycle for, right? So that bicycle is worth 85,000 Rand now, right? But we expect it is going to depreciate at 25% per annum on the reducing balance method. So now we've got to use a minus here for the depreciation, and reducing balance means it's going to be compound, which means that the exponent is still going to be the number of years because it's annual. And now we can find out what that poor bicycle is going to be worth. So 1 minus the 25% to the power of 5. Okay, so that bicycle is only going to be worth 20,170 Rand and 90 cents. Okay, and then the third thing we have to consider is what the future value is then going to be, right? So the future value that we need in 5 years' time is the cost price of this bicycle minus the money that we can recover by selling the other bicycle, right? So we need to be able to have 152,018.60 minus 20170.90, right? So we need to have in our account 131,847.70 in order to be able to buy this new bicycle, right? So how much do we need to put away? Well, now we know for our future value formula that we've got 131,847.70. We're trying to find out what the x is going to be. We know that for future value, we've got the 1 plus, and now this is 7%, right? So 7%, but now this is monthly, and this is for 5 years, so 5 times 12 is 60. right? And then we've got to do that for 7% over 12, right? So let's then see what we end up with here. So you should then find that x here, the value, is going to be the 2193.68. So that's what this cyclist needs to put away every month in order to be able to afford this new bicycle. All right. And then the final example that we're going to do is to just show again this power of the timeline. I'm so actually disappointed that this is the last one I'm going to draw today. So John deposits 10,000 Rand into an account that earns 10% per annum compounded annually. After 4 years, the interest rate changes to 7% per annum compounded monthly. Another 2 years later, he deposits another 10,000 Rand into the account. How much money is in the account after 10 years? Okay, so here we want to show the power of the timeline. Okay, so we're going to start at T0, and at T0 we put in 10 grand. Well, John does. And that's going to be compounded annually, right? And that's 10% over 12, right? And that's going to be after 4 years. So it looks like we're dealing with T4 here up until here's, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put like a little line here, and then I'm going to write here that it was 10% over 1, which is just my way of saying that for that first 4 years, he earned 10% compounded annually, right? So then after the 4 years, the interest rate changes to 7% per annum compound monthly, and then it changes again another 2 years later. Okay, so this T6, between T4 and T6, where I'm now counting things in years, we're going to go to 7% compounded monthly, right? So then, actually the interest rate doesn't change again here. What we are going to have though is a deposit. Okay, so then here at T6 we're going to have a deposit, right? And that deposit is another 10 grand, and we want to know, well, what do we have at T10? Okay, so this initial 10,000 Rand, what we're going to do is see how much interest that earns over the whole 10 years. And then we're going to add to that the other 10,000 Rand and the interest that that earned over the 4 years, right? So our accumulated amount is going to be that 10,000 Rand that was in the account for the 4 years at 10%. So that's going to be the 1 plus the 10% to the power of 4, right? And then it was in the account another 6 years at the 7%, right? But now our 6 years has to be monthly, so then we've got to do the whole 6 times 12 thing, so that's going to be 72, right? And then that is going to be the value of this cash flow, this 10,000 Rand here at T10. But we still have to find what this is going to be and how much interest it's going to earn over that next 4 years, and we've got to add that together, right? So then we're going to add that 10,000 Rand, that second one, and that's now in the account for 4 years, also at the 7%, right? And that 4 years, 4 times 12 should be 48, right? And now we should have a nice straightforward calculation where we can go and calculate what the value of the account balance is going to be. All right, and then we should get that in that account after the 10 years we have 35,476 Rand and 40 cents. Right, so that then concludes our workshop session today on financial math. What I greatly encourage you to do is to do as many financial math questions as you can over the coming period, whether it be the next few days, the next few hours, whatever it is, just to make sure that what you have learned today sinks in and that you can go and make sure that you can apply it. That's all from me. Thank you.